Hello, guys. Sorry about that. Was using a different laptop and wasn't working out very good. I hope you guys could just write in the comment section just to make sure we're all good audio-wise. If so, I will get the ball rolling. I'll look in the comment section and see what's going on. But yeah, I had a MacBook that wasn't working very good, so I had to go back to the old HP. All right, awesome, guys. So I'll start the conversation off by talking about this past weekend at Williams Grove Open. We had a very successful weekend, qualified strong. The first night, we were quick time. We won our heat race. We won the dash by pulling a number one and holding them off. And then in the A main, it was only 25 laps, but started on the pole and got the job done. If you guys watched the in-car video earlier this week, appreciate it. But it was pretty smooth sailing. Never was really challenged for the lead. We just started up front on the pole and got good restarts, and luckily was able to get through lap traffic. And it looked like Donnie and Lance were racing pretty hard. So excuse me, and just worked out for me. So happy to get to win on night one. And then night started off great again. It was quick time, won our heat race, drew a 3 in the dash, but being a split format, there's inside and outside row and 2 dashes. So was able to start third, got into somebody on the start of the dash, fell back to 4th. So that put us starting 7th in the A main. So that, it was kind of a bummer. The track was kind of hard to pass. There wasn't much of a bottom. It was kind of on the top. And then I think like the lap cars in the back cleaned the bottom up and started kind of taking rubber down there. And that's where the track ended up, rubber down. Everybody's tires were balled at 2 laps, but we ended up 5th. So not a bad run. You always want to go there and win that race. But it's one of those things. It wasn't our cards tonight, so we will just keep working hard. It was a successful weekend. I think anybody would be happy with our weekend at Williams Grove, but we'll move on to this weekend. We got Terre Haute and Hobstadt. Hobstadt's a very fun track, a track that's been very good for me. So really looking forward to Hobstadt. All right, guys. So I'll talk about anything you guys want. You guys could ask me questions. Once it gets crazy and lots of people are asking questions, to separate yourself or go to the top, you could put any sort of donation. You go right to the top of the list. But I will start off with a couple here. Says, how often do you and the team get to see home? Well, that all depends on. If you're talking about the crew chief, he's from Missouri or lives in Missouri now. One of the crew guys lives in Missouri, and then another crew guy lives in Pennsylvania. So the guy from Pennsylvania doesn't get to go home very often. They're usually going home when we're at Pennsylvania for Williams Grove. Other than that, he's never home. For me, I try to fly down to Florida once a month. That tends to vary how the season's going, but give or take once a month. Sometimes more, sometimes less. I would say the longest time I'm not home is about 2.5 months. Pops asks, how much input do you have on setting the car up? I think in the beginning, we were just kind of figuring out what type of bars, what kind of shocks and all that, trying to figure all that stuff out. And we got a good baseline, and then from there, Phil just kind of picks track size and what package we're going to run, and then we just go from there. Pretty much my job is to give him good input on if I'm loose or tight and stuff like that, and he knows what to do from there. Cody Sickles, I don't know if I've seen your JJR tattoo. If you're from Lernerville area, I've seen the tattoo there. That guy's got an impressive one, but I'm not good with names, so I'm sure I know your face, but not your name. Jim Lynch asks, how many races are left in the World of Outlaws? I believe there is 6 or 8. So I think we got 2 this weekend. We got 8. We got 2 this weekend, 2 the following weekend in Kansas and Missouri, 2 in Port Royal, and 2 in Charlotte. So we're 8 to go. Somebody asked me, so what's your big plan next year? Rumors are JJR might pull from the Outlaws. If they do pull, what is your plan for next season? And if they stay, are you going to run with them next year? My future is up in the air right now. Not sure exactly. I hope to find out in the next week or so. I kind of have 2 options. If I'm going to be sprint car racing, if I'm going to possibly do something on asphalt, maybe both, but I don't know. So JJR is kind of up in the air too. I think in a perfect world, they would like to run the Outlaws again with me, but we'll just have to wait and see what happens. It's been a great year. Everybody's been great to me at JJR, all the sponsors and all that. So we'll just have to wait and see. I don't know. Don't know yet. So nobody's got me a ride. Nobody's got me anything yet. So we're just along for the ride and see what happens here in the coming days. Let's see. Back in the day, driving the old IJ89G, did you ever imagine being where you are now? Been following you that long, man. I'm from the Lebanon Valley area. For me, I didn't know how far or where it was going to lead us to. Race some quarter midgets and then move into micros and then race sprint cars. And when you race sprint cars, you wanted to win the Outlaws or an outlaw show and wanted to run with them. And our goal was to get me where I could race for a living and just be a guy that shows up with his helmet bag and goes and drives the car. And luckily we were able to get there. Do I think I was ever going to get there? Man, I don't know. We've had a really rough time with the 89G at certain points. And luckily it all worked out. I don't think anybody could see into the future or know what's going to happen down the road, but you just try to do the best you can and hopefully it all works out. Donnie says, hiya, David. It was great seeing you and your family at Williams Grove for the National Open Night 2. Go get that 2019 World of Outlaws Championship. We're going to keep working hard. We're going to keep trying to close the distance, but it would be an extreme stretch to, get the championship. But if we could get that thing within 50 points or do something really cool, that would be awesome. So we're going to keep working hard. I mean, if Donnie messes up a little bit, we're 10 or 15 points closer to him than Brad. So you never know what happens, but at this point, we have to gain 10 plus points on the leader from here on out. And I'm really focused on just finish out the year strong, at least getting one more win to get us at 10 for outlaw wins for the year. But I would really like to get 2 more wins and get to that magical number 50 outlaw win for me. So definitely very motivated for that. Excuse me. I had to sneeze there. All right, let's see. Neil asks, have a favorite drag racer? Growing up, it was always John Force, but after actually knowing guys, J.R. Todd's a good friend of mine. And then Cruz Pedregon showed me first class in and out of his operation on the starting line and all that. So thank you, Cruz, and he's an awesome guy. Other than I don't think I have any other favorites, but it'd be those 3 for sure. All right, let's see what we got here. Jim Maxon, after reading the Area Auto Racing News article about you today, I was shocked to learn that you wanted to go to NASCAR. You're one hell of a sprint car driver. We'd love to see you stay. Thank you, Jim. For me, I feel like Christopher Bell, Kyle Larson, Ricky Stenhouse, they have an awesome life and they still go sprint car racing, go to a lot of the big events, own their own teams, and that's kind of where I would like to be down the road. They just have a lot more flexibility, and you always strive for more. At sprint car racing at my age, I feel I have close to peaked for if it's money earned, or I know I could still go for that championship one day, which I would love to do. But I want to keep going and keep climbing and try to get to that ultimate goal. You know, a lot of people don't really know, but being from Connecticut, I didn't know what sprint car racing was till a later age in my life. And my initial goal or love in racing was going to NASCAR races as a little kid. Now, do I think sprint car racing has a better product at the track? I think sprint car racing is awesome, but I feel like our sport is lacking in a lot of areas with safety and facilities. And uh, you know, NASCAR just is downright a safer sport than ours. And as you get older, safety becomes more of a issue or more of an important thing to you. And that's just something I'm thinking about. So if I could do something else, race 25 times, and then go race sprint cars 30 or 40 times, I feel like that's the best of both worlds. And it might work out, it might not, but if somebody gives me an opportunity and I say no, I'll definitely regret it. So it's one of those things, man. I'll take it day by day and see where it brings me. You know, I might be with the World of Outlaws next year, or I might not. So who knows? We'll just like I said, take it day by day. Let's see what we got here. Are you going to Australia? I've been there 3 times. I don't know if when I'll go back. I'm sure I'll go back at some point in my career. I know New Zealand has asked me a couple times to go, and just never have. With running the Outlaws, it's just a very, very busy schedule, and I like the off season, like the time off, like to have holidays at home, and you know, have family time. I'm a homeowner now. I'm getting married this winter, so this off season will fly by for sure. All right, let's see what we got here. Jim, what do you do for fun in the winter? Well, when I was in Connecticut at a younger age, we went snowmobiling quite a bit. But nowadays, I live in Florida, and I have a Mustang that you guys might have seen before, and we will be drag racing that this winter. So kind of one of the reasons why I moved to Florida, have an enjoyable winter time, and enjoy my toys. Let's see what we got here for questions. I remember when you came to URC, wishing you all the best. Thank you, Jim. URC was a great stepping stone. We were able to have, you know, success there in the beginning, and it was very fun. Met a lot of good people, and got to race in PA and New Jersey and Delaware. And was very happy with the route I chose. Jim says, "Where's the donate button?" I don't know what it looks like on your guys' side. I believe there's a bar of some sort to you could decide how much money you want to put in, or there's some preset numbers, but I'm sure it's above or below your comment bar. I'm sure somebody could chime in and help you out, but I just never been on that side of it. Let's see. Got anything lined up for Chili Bowl? Yes, I do. I should be driving the 76 car that Brady Bacon used to drive, and Frank Manafort owns it, originally from Connecticut. I raced that car the last 2 years, was able to get locked in on our prelim night and, you know, make the big show. So we were very fast there last year. I felt like we had a top 5 race car in the AMA, and somebody spun out in front of me, and I got collected in it and had to come from the back and had a tore up car. But we'll be with Frank Manafort in the 76G and go from there. Excuse the dog barking. That's our old dog Max here. That's he can't hear anymore, so when he sees stuff, he likes to bark. Let's see what we got here, guys. What's your opinion of Cedar Lake Speedway? I love Cedar Lake. I love Wisconsin as a state and all the tracks they have. I would say Cedar Lake is one of the best for sure. I like having a 2-day weekend there. It's usually a good surface. Crowd's usually pretty good, and definitely passionate fans there. So love Wisconsin, and hopefully we continue to go there. Beaver Dam, Cedar Lake, and Wilmot, they're all very, very fun tracks. So look forward to all of those. Brady says, Star Wars fan? If so, are you going to see the new one coming out in December? Never was a big Star Wars fan. I didn't dislike it. I watched the original movies and played some of the video games as a little kid. But yeah, I don't know if I'll go watch it. I really don't have time. I'm guessing this off season I have time, but there's a lot of movies I need to catch up on just because throughout the season we don't really have time to go to the movie theaters. Max is a party Pomeranian. He's 15 years old. He's a little white cotton ball with a couple blonde spots. He's Jill's dog, my fiance, since she's a little kid, and since we moved down here, we brought him with us, and he's enjoying Florida. Why won't the World of Outlaws come back to Oswego Speedway? I have no idea. I saw when that originally happened that had something to do with parking, but I really don't know why. I mean, we enjoyed going there. It was a slick racetrack. It was a fun racetrack, and I'm not really sure. But I wish we'd go back. We always had fun, a 2-day weekend, and all those things. So maybe one day we'll be there. All right, guys, a lot of questions coming in now. So if I missed your question, again, you could donate as little as 99 cents, and I could definitely see your question, but I'll try to sift through them the best I can no matter what. I'm here for you guys to answer your stuff, answer what you guys need to know, but I will do my best. Somebody asked, what's your opinion, Sam Osborne, what's your opinion about the competition of the All-Stars? I feel like it's fairly good. I don't think it's anywhere close to what the World of Outlaws is in depth. I think there's a lot of young guys that are coming up and definitely getting better, but Dale Blaney is a very good driver, very experienced guy, and that type of environment a lot in Ohio and slick tracks in New York and all that. And I think he's really good. Aaron Reitzel's really good, and they kind of separated themselves. Corey Eliason has done very well this year. Brock Zierfoss has done pretty good, but everybody else is kind of hit or miss. I mean, it's just a different level. You can win all-star races and make a couple mistakes in the name, but if you make one mistake on a World of Outlaw race, you're probably gonna lose, or something's gonna be breathing down your neck. So I just think it's just a whole nother level, and that's just my opinion. I've kind of been in both places. I feel when Tim Schaefer and Dale Blaney were on their games in the 83 in the 2 car, and you had Greg Wilson, really good around those Ohio places, and then you had some other guys. I raced it a little bit. It wasn't real great consistently, but they were pretty stout then, and the World of Outlaws always has been stout, but the World of Outlaws will always be the bar, and it's the hardest dirt series that you could race in. Favorite track in Michigan? I don't know. I mean, Hartford is not bad. I-96, the facility is not very nice. I've been able to win a couple races there, but we've been there at a 3/8 mile, half mile, 5/8, and it's kind of dangerous where we sit in the pits there. Wish they would kind of fix that, but I guess if I were to pick, it would be Hartford. Would you race a midget in the Chili Bowl if you had a ride? Jetty, I've been running the Chili Bowl for the last 3 years straight. I think I've run it 5 total times, and I made the A-main last year. So definitely have to look out for me when I'm there. Let's see. Born a Racer. Hello, David. Awesome run at Williams Grove. Are you guys going to Port Royal coming up? We run with the World of Outlaws, and that's a World of Outlaw race, so we will be there. Other than being close to home, you're going to miss going to Lebanon Valley. Got to be pretty hairy in a sprint car. Yeah, Lebanon Valley is a sketchy place, especially in a wing sprint car. I mean, it's extremely fast. If you get too high in 3 and 4, you're going to hit the wall. But, I mean, I miss going to Lebanon Valley to give people from Connecticut a close track to go to and get to see a lot of Connecticut people at the racetrack. So. Ryan Pisani says, favorite track in PA? I would say my favorite track is in PA. I would say Grandview. It's been a while since I've been there, but haven't been to Susky since they've done all the stuff to it. Haven't been to Path Valley in a long time, but I would go Grandview, Grove, Lincoln. Brady says, do you like racing on flatter tracks or more bank tracks? Man, that's tough to say. I kind of like in between. Nothing crazy high banked, but not extremely flat. So I would say in the middle. Scott says, where in Florida do you live? I live in West Palm Beach now. I am transplanted here last year. What is it? I bought the house over a year ago, but last year after World Finals, we officially moved down here. David, are you working on sponsors for Nationwide or trucks? I saw the article about Jeff Gordon supporting your efforts. I'm not personally working on anything right now. Jeff is kind of like my guy and my agent and doing the negotiating, and that's where it's sitting right now. Don't know where I'll be or if anything will come of it, but I mean, we're going to try, and we'll go from there. All right, Corbin Gurley with a donation. Thank you very much, man. What's your favorite all-around head/motor combo? If you just put in the comment section if you're talking about a 410 sprint car engine, just to be sure. If you're talking about that, it's going to be obviously all pro heads. Okay, yeah. So before I was a huge Kinsler guy and never ran too much Angler injector. Well, now Tim Angler is a vital part of JJR, and every single one of their motors has an Angler injector. So I would say an all-pro, a 283 or a 297 with a Angler 2900 injector is a very good combo. Both of those are used by lots of engine builders, and I don't think you can go wrong with either or, the 283 or the 297. They're very well-rounded. I would say the 283 maybe a little bit more, just because if you're in bad air, you're not going to be worried about the bigger head of the 297, and the 283 seems to accelerate a little bit better. And even though I might not make the same top number of a 297, I like the 283. It's a very strong motor. Let's see what we got. Brendan says, 15-year-old pavement 410 sprint car driver trying to make it far. Any tips? I know 410 sprint car racing on pavement is pretty niche market. I know there's some racing down south and some stuff in the Midwest. I feel if you want to be a pavement racer, you just got to win races and maybe try to get in a late model or something like that and show you that you're versatile and go from there. But I would just try to race as much as you can, race in front of as many different people as you can. Maybe try some dirt out or run Chili Bowl or something like that. But I mean, winning races is the best thing. Corey Holcomb says, starting micro sprints next year, do you have any advice for a beginner? Corey, have you raced anything before? Because if you haven't, I probably have a lot of advice. If you have raced before, I think you know how to race, and it's just a different size, different power band, different size track. So I think you'll be all right. Joe Applegate says, will you have, I'm guessing that means Knoxville, champ shirts at Terre Haute and Hobstadt? Yes, I will. We'll have them in the JJR t-shirt trailer. We'll have shirts for sure. Not sure if we'll have hoodies, but we'll definitely have t-shirts there. So stop by and say hello. Let's see what we got next. I'm close to Charlie from Graber. Oh, very cool. I'm guessing you're talking about Kenny Graber. If so, he's a great sponsor of ours, friend, and he's definitely a cool guy. Diana Bott says, David, love the Sage family helmet design. What brand of helmet do you prefer? I'm a Simpson guy. I'm sponsored by Simpson. I wear their suits, gloves, shoes, helmets, underwear, fireproof underwear stuff. So I am a Simpson guy through and they treat me very, very well. Jeremy Purdue asks, favorite sport besides racing? That would probably be football, and second would be basketball. Love both of those sports. Let's see. Pavement sprint cars anytime soon? I don't think there's a huge calling for doing that. They're very fast. I mean, I would definitely like to try it, but it's definitely not on my radar, or at least not right now. Favorite driver to run against? I would say Donnie Schatz. He's the cleanest driver out there. He's the best, and when you beat him, it's the most satisfying. That's for sure. Do you play any video games? I used to. After owning a house and traveling a lot, I haven't played much video games, but I have an Xbox One. So other than that, not anymore. I played a lot of Madden in my day, a lot of Call of Duty, but just don't have time for it anymore. Sorry, guys. Somebody I had to respond to on my phone. Favorite track to race on? Knoxville. Knoxville is typically always a great track, and they get the track good, and it pays the biggest race, biggest prestige. It's the race everybody wants to win. Bon Products, Ron Bon here. What's up, big dog? Thank you for a donation, man. I appreciate it. Shout out to you, and thanks for tuning in. And hopefully you guys like these live videos. Are you tight with Kyle Larson? Yes, I'm good friends with him. He invited me to his wedding. I invited him to my wedding. So I would say we're fairly close. We're both busy people, so we're not able to talk to each other as much as we can. But he's definitely a good friend of mine. Let's see, Sean Timmerman. I heard they sent Racing Pro again. Bummer, because I would have gone pro in 2020 because I've been beating Bergeron, Heilman. Not sure what you're talking about, Sean, but maybe you could recite that a little bit. You always race sprint cars, or have you raced late models too? I've always raced sprint cars, never any dirt late models. Started with micro sprints and then a sprint car, and then kept going from there. So no late model, at least not yet. Barry Edmonds asks, what do you use for protection in case of a driveline explosion? We run one of those scatter shields. It's like a Kevlar thing that bolts to the ball housing there around the drive shaft and torque tube. So it keeps all the metal fragments in, and hopefully nothing comes out. I believe Jason Myers builds them, and we have a torque tube hoop. So hopefully the torque tube doesn't come and hit my legs. Let's see. I've noticed Team Jack Foundation on your helmet. Are they a sponsor? So they are not directly a sponsor, but a friend of ours who is a sponsor, he is a big supporter of Team Jack Foundation, and he brought them on and wanted us to support them. And he got the helmet painted, got a suit done for them, and we're gladly to support the banner for them. And we're very proud of it. I've learned more about the Team Jack Foundation, Jack, and he's playing football, and he's been growing a lot, and he's healthy enough to go after it and play football. So that's really important. And Mark Birch is the guy that brought us together with Team Jack Foundation. He had a sprint car for a long time and decided to sponsor us this year. And one of his goals was to get the word out about Team Jack Foundation. So it's been pretty cool. There's a lot of cool videos online to tell you the stories about Team Jack Foundation. And just do a simple Google search and you can find out all sorts of stuff. But it's about children with pediatric brain cancer. So it's a terrible disease for kids to have cancer. It just doesn't make any sense. All right, guys, a lot of questions here. So we're gonna try to sift through them. If I don't get to them, sorry. But if you guys really want me to answer it, you can just make a small donation. It'll come up in bright letters, and I'll answer it right away. All right, let's see. Who does the tube bending for the cars? Is it one source or all in-house per team? Maxim builds our chassis, and they get the steel obviously from their supplier, but they do all the bending and obviously everything else. Andy says, new to watching sprint car racing, giving up on NFL, too predictable. David, thanks for getting me hooked on watching World of Outlaws. Thank you, Andy. I'm very curious in how you found sprint car racing and what exactly you do, and how you first heard of it and how you first started watching it. So definitely curious about that. Hey, David, would you be willing to come do the dirt racing podcast? I'm curious to see what the name of your podcast is. I've done a couple before, and if I have time, I have no problem. Diana says, is JJR losing sponsors or is Bobby thinking of getting out of sprint car racing? I can't answer that. I'm not really sure. I don't think we're losing sponsors. I think a lot of people want to be involved with JJR. So I think Bobby has a lot going on with Jax and growing him into a young man. And that's a big priority for her, but she definitely wants to keep that JJR banner going. How much time are you actually at your house during the season? When I come home, I fly in on a Sunday, and then I fly back out on a Thursday and got a race on the weekend. So, like I said before, I come home at least once a month, and sometimes two, sometimes none. So I'm saying about 10 times a year throughout the season, I'll get home. Ideally, Mitchell Hart says, ideally, how long do you want to keep running sprint cars before making the switch to NASCAR? Mitchell, I mean, at 27, I'm pretty old. So in terms of NASCAR, and so I feel like sooner the better. I feel my window is closing every year, and it's one of those things. We'll see. I'm just along for the ride. Tim Ryan says, what is one aspect you would like to improve on your own driving? Tim, I mean, it's hard to be consistent. I feel like I'm a great qualifier. I feel like I'm good on slick tracks. On heavy tracks seems to be my Achilles heel lately, for whatever reason. Um, Something that's really, really wet and a big cushion we seem to struggle on. I feel we run pretty tight race cars here, and maybe we just have the cars too tight and can't get around them. But I guess it would be on wet, heavy race tracks is where I would say I'd have to improve. Uh, Adam says, any hope for a 164 diecast this year, either the Waker or Exalta car? My kids love them. There's really been, the pool has been drying out, I'm sorry, of getting diecast. R&R used to be the main ones that used to make them, and there's just not many places to get them anymore. So, and it takes several months to get them done. So I do not think there'll be any 164s this year, but hopefully down the road. Let's see. You're so good on dirt. Why make the switch to asphalt? I mean, again, I might not make the switch, but to me, it's always try to improve myself, keep growing. Um, I feel like if I go race asphalt, I have plenty more times to race dirt, and I could always go back to dirt racing. And always like a challenge or a new challenge. I always like to challenge yourself as a race car driver to continue to get better. I see somebody down there says Port Royal at Williams Grove. Somebody asked me before my favorite track in PA, and I forgot totally about Port Royal. Grandview might still be my favorite, but Port Royal is definitely number two by far. they are way ahead and above Williams Grove. They do a great job with the fans. They do a great job with the facility, with the surface. They continue to improve safety, and I'm a big supporter. So all for Port Royal, that's for sure. Corey, okay, you've never raced before, so if you're going to race a micro, definitely try to be out on the racetrack by yourself just to learn how to shift the thing, take off, do a couple pace laps, just feel it out, and then slowly go faster with your pace. I feel like once you get a decent pace and you're making solid laps, then it would probably be good to be with other drivers on the racetrack at the same time. But just take it step by step. I don't know what size track you'll be on, but I'm sure it's going to feel fast for you. It's going to be a lot of fun, but micro sprints have quite a bit of grip. So your goal is to keep that car straight and go as fast as you can. Tim Ryan says, interesting that you say you run a pretty tight car, but you have been the benchmark qualifier this year. We're pretty tight all night long. Some people run a really free car and a really tall gear, and we just try to be in the racetrack. So let's see. Sawyer says, what is your thoughts on I-55 Raceway? Man, that track's awesome. It's famous. Everybody knows about it. It's a very intense place. But lately, the surface hasn't been that great. This year wasn't too bad, but we've had a lot of rubber down racetracks in recent years. And if they could get the surface consistently better, definitely be higher on my list. But we're able to race there a couple times a year, but it always seems to rain. But if they get that surface good, it's one of the best tracks and probably one of the best tracks to watch as a fan. Brian Gordon asks, what is something that sprint cars need to improve on, or the sport? I have been a sprint car fan as long as I can remember. I want to start a business revolving around sprint cars. Brian, I'm not. Well, for me, safety is the thing that needs the biggest improvement. I think we have great attendance at our races. We have most of the time jam-packed events. I believe our purses are going up this year, especially. So that's a great thing for us. But other than that, the big thing would be safety and get us on live TV. I know some sports and stuff aren't great for live TV, but I think for us, it's still better for us to be on live TV than not. Let's see, Big Sexy Man Bear, they said, do you have an opinion on Eagle Raceway in Nebraska? It's a fun place, man. I always only raced that place on a video game and finally was able to go there a couple years ago, and it's a lot of fun. Hopefully we could go there again sometimes. What's for dinner? We got chicken tonight. We got chicken, acorn squash, and salad, I believe. We're doing teriyaki and some chicken with some hot sauce on it. That's what's going down. Kyle Lambie says, please come back to Australia. At some point, man, we will. Just probably not this year, getting married in January. So it's going to be very tough. Sawyer, when is the next race? It is Saturday at Terre Haute and then Sunday at Hobstadt, both in Indiana, if you didn't know. Adam Healy says, Jason Sides told me I could drive his extra car for a night for a fee that I thought was reasonable. Should I do it? Let me know if you've driven anything before. If you haven't, I would not do that for the first time on a race night with people that do it for a living or for fun. So I would suggest no, but I mean, if you go do a private session or rent a track or something, I would say so. But if you've driven a sprint car before, go for it, man. Have fun. Rick Rapids says, with twice the amount of TV shows next year, you have thought of doing some quick announcer work suggested for building your brand? I would love to do some announcer work, but I don't know where I would do that or when, but if you got any suggestions, let me know. But I'm all about building my brand. That's why I have a YouTube channel, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. It's all part of the gig. So that's why I do these live videos to talk with my fans, answer stuff that's on their mind, and kind of give you more of a personal side. How do you start a sprint car? Well, you put it in gear. It's either in or out. There's no clutch or transmission. So the motor's all locked up in the rear end, and you push it till you get the tires spinning, which turns the oil pump, which turns the fuel pump. And once you get oil pressure, you flip the ignition switch on, and boom, the car's fired up. All right, guys, definitely getting bombarded with a lot of questions. If you want to stand out and don't want me to skip your question, just do a small donation and I will answer it right away. But I'm sure I'm going to miss people. I know some guys are posting multiple times for the same question. So sorry, I'm trying to get to them all, doing my best. Have you ever been to Selinsgrove Speedway? Ryan Clark says, yes. I ran a couple URC races there in my day, but I don't think I've ever been there in a 410. I noticed the new bar on the left of the cars this year. Is it this mandatory? Yes, it is. There's bars required on both sides. It is to shorten the span that you have, so the top of the cage doesn't cave in, so it kind of splits it in half, just to give it some more strength. In your opinion, should sprint cars have starters? I would say no. There's not really much room for them. That we don't want to make the cars heavier, and it's just another something to fail. And I'm not really sure how it would work with no transmission, no clutch. Brendan says, ever thought of someone managing your YouTube for me? I feel like I definitely need somebody to help me out or kind of be behind the camera so I could be, instead of third person, I could be on this side of the camera like I am right now. It just would let me do lots of other things. And, you know, I don't know. We'll see. I feel like I need help with editing and being creative with the videos. I feel like I'm pretty good at doing what I'm doing now, but eventually I have to keep growing and wanting to do more. So I think it's definitely in my future that somebody will help me out for sure. Uh, Andy Zegler says, why do you think NASCAR is getting such low ratings? I feel like today's day and age, we have so many options to watch things on TV. Netflix, Amazon Prime Video, Hulu. There's so many streaming things now. There's a Fire Stick. There's YouTube. Just think of how many people just watch YouTube instead of watching normal TV nowadays. Then you throw in video games, and then you throw in everything else that's out there. People are either out and about doing stuff or running a business or working night shift or whatever. So I think no matter what, ratings are probably going to be down on everything compared to what it was at one time. But also, a NASCAR race is very long. I feel baseball struggles with the same thing. I feel like their product's a little bit too long. The races and the baseball games are too long, and people get bored. And I think that's why football has usually great attendance. UFC fights have great attendance. Supercross has great attendance. They're more shorter, action packed, and people eat that stuff up. But that's just my opinion. Diana Bot says, David, will there be any more DGR t-shirts coming soon? I did come out with some shirts this year. Came in gray, black, and I think that's it. And I had some hats done. If you already picked those of the new logo redone DGR shirts, I'll probably come out with something this winter, maybe around Christmas time, to just continue to try to build that DGR brand. Maybe come up with some winter stuff and some good stuff around the holidays. So stay tuned, Diana. If I do, it'll be posted on all my social media outlets and then be available through my website. Brian says, can you do a shop tour? I will be at the shop after this weekend coming up, so I will plan on doing a shop tour then. There'll be a lot of people and be pretty crazy, but we'll give you a shop tour. It's not a huge shop, so I don't know. I'm sure you guys will like it no matter what, but it's not like a big shop like CJB or KKR or TSR or anything like that. But I'll more than happily show you guys around. Rick Rabbit says Mandy Pouch has great videos. I would ask her. Yeah, I mean, she's been doing it longer than me. I know her pretty well. We've been friends for a long time. I've watched some of her stuff. But yeah, I definitely need a little guidance, need a little help. But we'll continue to get better, and hopefully along the way somebody can help me out. Von Bon Products, thank you for the donation, buddy. Appreciate it. Are you personally sponsored? Can you message me an email if interested for you or the car? Yeah, I will. Let's see if I can message you. I'll just put my email in here. Or yeah, I don't know if should I put my email on here, but I'll do it anyways. People, please respect my email and don't send me stuff that I don't need. But am I personally sponsored? Simpson sponsors me with all my race gear, but other than that, I don't really have any personal sponsors. Usually sponsors I bring are for the team, but I'm all about building myself and building a brand. So yeah, thank you, man. Appreciate it, and interested in what you have to say or what you're interested in, and I'll answer any question you need. Born Racer says, love your Mustang, by the way. Thank you, man. Obviously, season winding down and me being home this off season, I will be posting way more car content. I'll be posting my truck, my Mustang, and my Viper, going to the drag strip and showing you what that's all about. So when I'm not racing sprint cars, I'm racing my street cars or working on them. So hopefully you guys like Mustangs and muscle cars and all those things. And I'll continue to give you guys content, but just a little bit different. So stay tuned for this off season because my channel will definitely be changing for sure. Tim Ryan asks, I understand Philip has a background in mechanical engineering. Do you find that gives an advantage over other crew chiefs? It does not hurt. I think it helps for sure to understand spring rates and a lot of stuff that I probably don't know anything about. I think to really know the inner workings of how everything works and why it works, and he has just a great understanding for that. And I think it's because he's a mechanical engineer. So all is good. Hello. Hello. Jill just got home for work, so that means I'm on the clock to cook dinner shortly and have a dinner and go to bed. She's got work tomorrow too, and I fly out tomorrow. So good times over here. Barry Edmonds asks, what's the biggest speedway y'all compete on, David, and what are the speeds? 5/8 mile would be the biggest, and Eldora, I would say, is the fastest average speed. We average in the 130s, and Volusia is the same way. Volusia is actually just under a half mile, and we have average speeds in the 140s. So air is really good down there, and we carry a lot of speed there. Let's see. Jim asks, where do you sleep on the road? RV? We sleep in hotels. We do not have a motorhome, and we have space in our truck and trailer, but most of the time we stay in hotels. Let's see. Chris Flashman with a donation. Thank you, sir. As you see, that pops up, and I will answer all those right away. Thank you. If JGR continues next year, do you know if Patrick and Tyler would stay with team? It seems crew members get burned out after several years. So for them, this is their first year that they'll run the full season with, and hopefully they don't get burnt out already. But they're pretty young, both in their 20s, young guys, and they haven't done it for that long. So I believe if I'm with JJR next year, that probably both way, and I hope so because they're both good workers. We get along great. There's no drama, and we still like each other at the end of the year. So that's really important. Adam asks, what do you think of iRacing and its realism or lack thereof? Um, they did great jobs with the tracks, like the scenery, the stands, the walls, everything like that, the banking, the shape. They did a great job on that. It's just hard to get the exact feel of a sprint car, but it is extremely tough to race 410 sprint cars on a slick track on iRacing, and it's very hard to do in real life. They did a great job. I don't know how realistic things could get, but it's the closest thing out there by far, and I'm sure over the years they'll keep improving it. David, besides your Viper, what other fast toys would you like to own? I'm a huge car guy, and my want and need for cars will never end. I don't even want to make a list of what cars I want because it would probably be 20 plus. But I've always been a big Lamborghini guy. My ultimate car, if I ever hit the lotto, is a Koenigsegg. But luckily, I'm very thankful and appreciative that I'm able to own a Viper. So you never know. I'll just keep working hard, keep trying to win races, and keep moving up the ladder. And maybe I could get one of my dream cars. Let's see. Rick says, "What other dirt car would you like to drive?" Well, I drive a midget once a year, and I would try like a dirt late model one time. Definitely like to try it out, just see what it's like. Born a Racer says, Racing Recorder, I'm a new family member to your channel. Thank you, buddy. Thanks for subscribing. You know, I'm still fairly new. I think I've been doing this for about 4 months or something like that. And I'm just trying to get better at it. I always rely on you guys on what you like to see in the future. So keep letting me know what you want to see in the future, and I'll try to fulfill that. But once the season ends, get ready to see more of my personal life in the off season and more of my toys and what I do to stay occupied. So hopefully we gain a lot of car people in this channel and keep building this thing up. Ashneck88 says, how are you feeling about Port Royal? I'm very excited about Port Royal. Big Tracks has been our strong suit this year. We've been qualifying really well, and I think we'll be good there. I've always been fairly good at Port Royal, but always struggled just a little bit in Yay Main to win races. Got a lot of podiums there, but very, very excited to go there. So can't wait. XM1X says, would you drive a funny car? I mean, I would say I would, but I might get scared because that's a lot of power. And man, they go fast in a short amount of time. And J.R. Todd's a good friend of mine. He's a funny car driver. So who knows? Definitely take a little bit of practice, but maybe some baby steps up there. But I'm sure it's a hell of a ride. Let's see. How did your deal with Bobby and Phil come about? So pretty much 3/4 way through the season with CJB, things weren't going well. Kind of had a couple falling outs, and they knew they wanted to move on, and I knew I wanted to do something different. And you know, JGR was looking to go back on the World of Outlaw tour the following season, and I think I talked to Philip at the races when they raced at the end of the year with Carson Macedo and Joey Saldana, and just started from there. And I think it was either National Open time or Port Royal time. I think it was Port Royal time. I had a meeting with those guys and was able to lock down a deal with them for this year, and it's been awesome ever since. All right, guys, so I'm probably going to do about 10 more minutes. If you guys have any questions, I probably missed some. If you need them answered, just throw a small donation in there, and I will answer them for you. But I'm going to do about 10 more minutes, just about a little over an hour, and we'll call it quits there. Chill's making our salad right now, and I got to cook the chicken on the grill. So Casey says, want to see you keep winning. Me too. I have couple goals. One is to get that next win to be number 10, and then the next one after that is my career win number 50. So very motivated to get those. So 8 races to go. I hope we can win 2 of them. Let's see. Are you a Formula One fan? Yes, I am. Um, they're the coolest and most advanced cars in the world. How could you not like Formula One? I mean, it's hard for us to watch it because they race all over the world and the times are very different. I wish I was more into it, but I'm a lot into football and fantasy football. So when I'm not racing, that takes up a lot of my time and being a homeowner. But one day I would definitely like to go to an F1 race and definitely learn more about it. I know a decent amount about it, but would like to see the inner workings and just to see that next level. Rick Rapid, thank you for the donation, buddy. I'm not sure if you had a question or not, but if you did, just type it in at the bottom and I will answer it for you. But much appreciated. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll keep trying to fulfill your guys' needs. Wolfer says, think anyone will buy Houston Speedway? I hope so. That town really loves sprint car racing. Really always supported Houston's really well, and I'm sad that we don't race there anymore. So I hope somebody buys it and we get to race there again. Is there a type of racing you absolutely would never do? I don't know. I just like competition. I would do go-kart. I would do shifter kart racing. There's a lot of types of different things I would like to do. So um, I'm all for it. I Race It All says, is Chris Godwin on your fantasy team? He should be. No, he's not. I mean, he's a guy that was always in Mike Evans' background, and I know he's rated pretty high in fantasy this year, and he's doing really well. But I didn't take the risk on him. My one fantasy team, I have two really good receivers with Tyler Lockett and DeAndre Hopkins, and then my other league, I got a bunch of decent guys, but nobody great. I just traded Brandon Cooks away for a tight end because I had no tight end, and I got Alshon Jeffrey and Cortland Sutton and McLaurin from the Redskins. Nobody like too impressive, but Marvin Jones from the Lions. So I'm deep with decent guys, but no really, really good guys. But wish I had Chris Godwin for sure. Braden asks, how bad do the Patriots kick the crap out of the Giants? I mean, the whole Giants team is pretty much dead. They don't have anybody. Evan Ingram's out. Saquon Barkley's out. Sterling Shepard's out. You know, they're just diminished on offense. Wayne Gallman, their backup running back, is out. So they're now on their third string running back. I think it's going to be a slaughter. And who knows, I might be wrong. But I think the Patriots will win by, I'm going to say 21 plus. But who knows? The NFL, every time I think it's going to be a blowout, it's a low-scoring game. And I'm totally wrong. So we'll see. But I'm pretty confident. I think it's going to be 21 plus victory. Adam asks, I think a lot of people appreciate how fast and clean you are when you race, unlike guys with names that rhyme with bad meat. So obviously some people, that's funny. Some people in PA think I'm a dirty racer from one instance at the National Open with Stevie Smith, but that was not on purpose. I did not wreck him on purpose. I barely grazed him. And other than that, I feel like I've been very clean. I think Donnie Schatz is the cleanest racer out there, but I think I'm pretty high up there also. So I try to race really aggressive, but stay clean and try not to overdrive the car or the corner. So do the best I can. Brendan asks, currently driving for someone, still have a lot of expenses. Any tips on getting good sponsors? They're hard to get. I mean, you could go and ask 10 people and you'll be lucky for one or two to want to help out. I feel like social media is huge in building that and letting people know that you're looking for sponsors, but also type up some proposals, talk to your local businesses. It could be as simple as a lawn care company, an oil company, heating and air conditioning. It doesn't really matter. A lot of business owners are car guys, are into motors, and they might need a tax write-off and want to check out your racing. So I would just try to hit up your local sponsors and just keep networking yourself. Brandon says, what's your favorite size track? My favorite size track is A 3/8 probably. I like half miles, but sometimes half miles get strung out if it's a little bit too wet. The conditions have to be perfect for good racing, and I'm going to go 3/8. Somebody asked, will you be at World Finals at Charlotte? Yes, I will be. It's our final races with the World of Outlaws, and we will be there. All right, guys, just going to be on here for a couple more minutes. If you got any more special questions you need to ask me, send them in. If not, I'll answer the last couple and go from there. What do you think about legend car racing? Well, I did a couple legend car races when I first got out of quarter midget racing. To me, I'm very disappointed in the building of the chassis. I think that the welds and how the frame is put together is not very good. That's just my opinion, but with one person controlling where the chassis come from, stuff like that happens. So it's one of those things that it's very popular. A lot of people race legend cars, and a lot of NASCAR people have come from legend car racing. So it's definitely successful. Jake asked me, can I pronounce your last name? I don't know if I can. Let's see. Oh, man, that's tough. Satio is what I'm going with. I'm going to go with Jake Satio. That's definitely a tough one, that's for sure. Let me know if I'm right or not, if I'm even close, but I'm going with Satio. Josh, thank you. A good day from Australia. Appreciate it. A lot of Australian people support me and watch all my stuff and are my fans. So thank you guys. Keep supporting me, and we love you guys and love that you guys love American sprint car drivers. All right. Well, I'm going to end it here, guys. Thank you very much. Josh, let me know. Jake, let me know I want to know before I leave what that last name is. But thank you very much, guys. I seen a Viper question. Any plans for the Viper? I have a couple. Sacho. Okay. Interesting. Plans for the Viper. I've done a couple small mods to it. If you look at my YouTube channel, that's all I've done to it so far. Plan on going with a catless exhaust, hopefully, and some Corsa mufflers. But I have a wedding to pay for and tax season coming up and all that stuff. So it's not high on my priority list to get, but we will see. But thank you guys very much. Keep letting me know what you guys want to see in the future. Hopefully, I fulfilled your needs with the in-car videos here this past weekend and the week before. I'll continue to do my vlogs at the racetrack with my crew guys, with Patrick, Tyler, and Phil. And then I should have a video coming up with the shop tour. And then other than that, we'll try to come up with something new, but get ready this off season for a lot of car content, a lot of Mustang, Viper, and F-150 stuff. So thank you guys very much. We'll see you next time. I plan on doing these once a week. Not sure if I'll be able to do them once a week, but I'm going to try to do a series of doing live videos every week. So thank you very much, guys. We'll see you later, and thank you very much. Peace out.